right. Heavenly Father, may it be your will that we do the right deeds for the people of Oconto County. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Rocky is via Zoom today. Brumman, here. Thompson,
Here.
Reggie,
Here.
Mom.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve minutes for March 16th, regular minutes. So moved. Second, motion by Bill, second by Terry. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On to public comment, limited to 3 minutes per person. Please identify yourself and your township. Here, everybody online? Okay. Jim, you have some?
Not right now, no, thank you.
Okay, moving on to presentations. Troy Summers.
All right, time of year. I emailed you all my equalization report to kind of go over and you can see the increase in taxable. Same thing with the assessed value, nothing has gone down. The report I show difference between the assessed and taxable. Hopefully you had time to look at it. No factors whatsoever. I'm going to put it online, so if anybody wants to look at it, I'll have John put it online, so if anybody wants to look at it.
Troy, could you, Caledonia Township, how does you spell his name? Is it G-A-R-Y or G-A-R-Y?
A-double-R-Y.
R-Y.
Yep.
No, it's spelled that way.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep, and then, that's about it for the equalization part. I have Adam to sign about 20 different things once it's been approved, but nothing has gone down.
I think we're about 6% up, eh?
Yeah, around 5, maybe 5,
Yeah.
6, something like that, yeah. And a lot of places, next year, it'll be probably about this, anticipated about the same things are selling. Anything, as you know, anything that goes on the market is not on there very long, and we follow the market, so we're a year behind.
Somebody said it takes a year or two to get.
Right, our sales, we just ended March 31st for ours, so we follow the sale, and everything seems to be since it hits the market. I talked to several real estate agents, and maybe Terry works real estate, he could probably agree with this, that as soon as it goes on, it sells, everything is selling. So I don't anticipate it going down next year, so I'm sure we'll slow that. Border reviews have not been, were not bad this year. I mean, Guston didn't have anybody come to their border review. So border reviews are down, and people are expecting the values to be up a little bit higher, so they know what the market's like out there. So is there any questions on it? If there isn't, or if you do have one later, let me know.
Okay.
Seems like there was a lot of, what reviews were a lot of veteran pensions that were being paid. So
Right.
Is that up from last year? or-
No, I think that's about the
That's
same,
normal?
and keep
Okay,
in
so-
mind your taxable values and that stuff right now. That can go to the July or December and still get it, so keep in mind that the taxable could go down somewhat. Not, I think a lot of them are doing it at the March for reviewing more, but there's.
Poverty exemptions are the ones right now, right? Yeah.
Right, and while poverty exemptions, no, most of them handle them in July because
Oh.
most of them table it, they wait till
Oh.
July.
Yeah.
They don't have,
Mhm.
more or less, the vets are at March, poverty is usually July or December.
I'd also say your 6% is going to be very conservative.
We follow, Keep them, so, I mean, if you go into
Didn't
next
get
year,
smacked by Headley and it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Yeah, that's probably true too.
and that part is not, of course, my rollback or whatever is not in this report, because
Right.
that's not, because we haven't had state equalized, so I cannot tell you that, but. So,
Okay,
some questions, we're all set.
thanks, Troy.
Yep, I'll see you after Adam.
Okay. Right, we put passes.
Yeah. I'll wait a second then.
Yeah, we need a motion.
Make that motion to accept the equalization report.
Support. Motion by Terry, supported by Bill. Any further discussion? Let's do a roll call.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman. Brumman,
Oh, I can do this. Here, yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. They told you there's gonna be some. Somebody. The next in the presentations is put off till next week, so back into unfinished business. Opioid committee and fund creation. Carolyn, I think you'd be best to give us a little insight onto this because you are,
Well. My only, we've got multiple opioid funds. Well, there's the one from the state that is based on the place they're selling recreational.
Mhm.
And then there is the one that they want to get through the health department.
well, I think this is not the marijuana, this is the, like that settlement,
Oh, I'm sorry.
opioid settlement.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I was so focused on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Um, as was reported at the last meeting, we have $56,000. I sent a communication to the Department of Treasury and they sent back saying there are no restrictions, as I reported this last time, there are no restrictions on that 56. I feel we need to get another clarification. I don't trust one person sending that, even though it was within a form. It wasn't just a sentence sent back, it was a form, but even so, I don't want to risk $56,000 having to be.
Sure.
It's not, you're off on the marijuana then. You're
That-
talking about the
that's-
marijuana. We're talking about this opioid settlement.
The opioid
I'm
settlement,
sorry,
the court
I'm
settlement.
sorry. These
No
are,
problem. Oh, I know.
they're just, wow, I've spent too much time on the
Marijuana
one.
thing, yeah.
Um,
You got a marijuana, please?
Anybody there?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. It does seem that way, Don.
That's your.
No. And now I'm drawing a total blank. I'm so sorry.
On the opioids, does the,
The settlement.
on the settlement, is it any requirements?
Oh, thank you. Bring me back in focus. Unfortunately, yes. If you recall, when the opioid originally started, we had to determine the amount of dollars that were spent in all arenas within Altoona County and on behalf of Altoona County. And those were all compiled, payroll, benefits, schools that they went, that any of our people would have gone to, trainings that they did. If they did a training online, we had to compute the payroll time for them to sit and take that class online. All of that was done with the thought, the implications that we would be able to repay ourselves for those costs. That is not true, apparently. And again, I'm going off of a 8 to 10 page document that does tell us the things we can do with that opioid money. I think, from my perspective, I think a committee with at least one or two at the most, obviously, commissioners, and possibly someone such as prosecuting attorney. I think then two, maybe other people who, not necessarily county people. But, for instance, one of the things we can do is to pay tuition for someone who is going into the field of mental health. It doesn't strike me as the right thing to do, because despite the fact that $200,000+, that's over an extended number of years, and it's only about $12,000 a year. So I just feel that there are a lot of options, just not a lot that
Fits us.
fits us well. We're gonna have to look at how we're going to do it and have ourselves fit into it. But I do think that a small committee, looking at what our options are to spend it, and then, and I think it needs to come back to the board for a final approval as to how it will be spent. And whatever, not whatever, but looking at what this committee recommends annually and moving forward on that approach. I'm disappointed that they took a left curve as far as replenishing, but the other side of that coin is, those are expenses that went back. I think we could go back to 2011, I believe, 2013 or 14, that we compiled costs. Us, district health, other entities. And it always bummed me because I forgot to go to the library to see what books they might purchase on that.
Oh, I see.
And that would have been, we're probably only talking $50 to $100, but the fact that I forgot
Right.
it bugged me.
When do we start receiving the funds?
Fairly soon.
So we need to make so 2 steps here. We need to create a line item in the fund in the income side, right? Or do we make its own fund
It
separate?
should have its own fund. I believe it should have its own
Yeah.
fund.
And you said you had that number?
I thought I sent it to, maybe, I think I sent it to the finance committee as a recommendation. But,
I probably haven't emailed it.
yes, I have it. And I'm sure I can get that to surface again. Not sure. I think I can.
And then, okay, so 2 things. We have to create a fund and then put together a committee. Your opinion is we should have a committee. I tend to agree.
And authorize the use of a fund, or the creation of the fund, and I can take care of that.
Okay, so that would be the first motion.
I make a motion to create a fund for the opioid money as it comes in.
Support.
Motion by Bill, supported by Carolyn. Any discussion? Let's do a roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Small.
Yes,
And I would suggest the committee be at 5 to 7 people. They may decide that they can find 5 that are just fit what the needs are, or they might want to bring someone on a temporary basis for expertise in a particular area.
Should we start with 2 commissioners and then have them advise potential candidates?
Yes, I think so.
Any volunteers? I'll do it.
Oh.
And you can do it?
Okay.
That's all right?
Yeah.
So we'll start make a motion to form a opioid settlement committee for the purpose of advising the board of commissioners on how to distribute funds. And also to recommend other members for the committee. Support. That's a long one. You're welcome. Moved by me and supported by Bill. Any further discussion? I don't need to make a motion to put people on there, right? No, okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. And then I guess as chairman, I have the authority to put myself and Carolyn on that.
Mhm.
That's what we're gonna do. I think that does it for that. Next item, Carpel Computer Systems Software Contract. This is for the prosecutor's office. That's in this packet somewhere. Oh, there it is, right on top. Found it.
This is,
We've already approved to go ahead with this. We just need to, for me to sign, right?
right, because we approved it come from, very rescue fund. And in Tom's original 5, and that was for including so many years of maintenance.
Yep.
Like, just quicker to, the first year's only 57, and I know you did 7.
Okay,
So I make a motion for the chair to sign the contract with Carpel Solutions.
motion by Bill, second by Terry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Brumman,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Next item is the Brandero Enterprises proposal. Anybody have, I wish I had some time to dig it up. What was the first motion that we made in regards to this proposal?
If I'm not mistaken, it was approved with up to the finance department to see if there were funds. It was-
Yes.
And that's as far as it went.
The finance committee met this morning and we determined that at this time we cannot find the funds to
Okay.
put together this project, so I don't know what to do some additional work on it, or I don't know, but I think when Dan comes back, we can have a very intelligent conversation about this.
Okay, but we need to probably, I think, make a motion to let it not go any further because it was on, it was pending finding the funds.
We can kick it down to old unfinished for next meeting if you want.
Okay, but that, well, I think we should let Dave know so we can contact these people and say that we're having an issue.
Yeah.
So they're not sitting there waiting.
I'm okay with them doing that.
Okay.
And that does it for that. Now we're on to claims. Here we go. Motion by Adam Brady, seconded by to be determined to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between March 16th, 2022 and April 5th, 2022 for check numbers 147041 to 147223 and each check numbers 1814 to 1831 for a grand total of $1,806,492.83.
Support.
Supported by Bill. Any further discussion?
1.5 million of that was payout for the entities that you pre-approved at the last meeting. So there's about 300,000 in total.
Roll call, please.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Public guardian position and wages. I think, this is the one that Jennifer was talking to me about, so this is postponed until the next meeting also, when Dan is back. Jennifer asked me to do that, and it just never made it to my, I never got it to Stephanie. That being said, we are on to the finance report. Oh,
Could we approve the equalization report?
We did.
I thought we did. We did, right, when he made presentation.
I'm saying yes, we did, didn't we? Yes.
Okay.
I do. Yeah,
No more gummy bears for you.
that's that. No, honest stuff.
Check her water.
Okay, all right. Finance report. Please. Oh, that's me.
Thank you.
I need some of that too, apparently. So we did meet today and we covered several issues. One of the things notable is that we're, just not finding a place for 25 grand to come for that brand roll scenario. And I think when Dan comes back, we can make a very intelligent conversation about that at the next meeting. We didn't identify anything to vote on today to move money around, but Cheryl probably might have some things, maybe in her report. Okay, then we need to move money wise. I don't think there was.
The only thing that came up was the 911.
Oh, yeah. We need a board vote on that? Yeah, this is my fault, obviously, but, I received the bill from 911 for the services they provide to the county. And I forgot to pass that on. And now they're saying, where's my money? So we're taking care of that. And that's all I got for finance. Go on to personnel. Looks like we got a closed session in the making here.
We'd like to suggest that staff committee reports. or-
Okay.
At the end of the thing.
We can do it then. Yeah, sure. No problem at all.
Chairs and preferences.
Let's put it after the last public comment. Then all these nice people don't have to hang out. So then it'll be the treasurer's report.
A nice payout you guys had was because of the settlement process. We are halfway through. We have majority or half of the treasurers come in for settlement. Any issues we had throughout the month of March have been cleared up, and so we were ready to settle. Like I said, we're halfway through. All the checks have been submitted and cut, obviously. And transfers are going to be happening to the different departments with that paperwork. It's very similar, possibly a little bit higher in a few areas, but we did have more millages this year than we did last year. We had additional millages in certain departments, so it obviously went up a little bit. That's been a pretty work-intensive process this year. There were these came up, but they've been easily remedied. We'll be putting out delinquent bills. We'll be printing them this week and sending them out next week. We ended up foreclosing on 11 properties. We do have 3 individuals that participated in the MyHap, it's called. It was the Michigan Housing Authority had monies available for anyone who had delinquent taxes or mortgage payments due to COVID or different. They had a lot of money that came into basically the ARPA funds that they were able to help 3 individuals in Alcona County that had applied for that program. We're still waiting on confirmation in the funds, but they were able to assist 3 individuals keeping their homes. Like I said, we did foreclose on 11 out of the original 331 that were forfeited last year, so that was kind of encouraging. I'm going to jump back to Carolyn's excise tax that we got from the state. And I know when I sent the information out that we had received it, I included one thing that I probably shouldn't have, which is probably what put it in your mind as a question. These are tax dollars that are collected based on the amount of information or on the amount of dollars collected. It's the actual tax that was collected that is being redispersed to the townships that have them, as well as the counties that they're involved in that have adult. It's very specific. It was adult. I'm trying to think of the name. Adult use marijuana payment, and it's the excise tax that came through. And after reading through the law and then the information that was forwarded from the state, which I believe I forwarded on to everyone, it does say there are no restrictions on the use of, and I know you don't believe it or not. But it's in a numbered letter that came from the Department of Treasury. I'm comfortable with that. At this point, we have, the only thing that you need to be aware of is that this is monies that were collected for 2021. They will be reported as 2021 revenue because they are actually 2021 revenues. We could leave it in 22, but then when the auditors come, they will have us look it back. So I have talked to them in advance of putting this anywhere, doing anything with it, and I wanted to let you know. So however, if you feel uncomfortable with doing that, we can put a reserve on that amount in our fund balance until you decide that you're comfortable with using it on whatever. I don't know that that's, I mean, that's an option if you're not comfortable with utilizing it for general fund based on a number letter from the state, but those are usually the ones that we get our information from when there's any changes or anything new, is the numbered letters that are put out by the state. So that money will be booked back to 21.
Okay.
I think that's about it. Unless anybody has any questions.
Okay,
But the 21's a good idea.
all right. So we can just throw in general. Do it that way, you know, until you mark it or do it special.
Okay.
All right, good. Clerk's report.
The number of precinct delegate seats for each township have been certified by the Republican and Democratic parties. The filing deadline for the precinct delegates is May 3rd by 4:00 p.m. and that can be filed with the county clerk's office. The county clerk held a meeting with the local township clerks to see where the clerks were at for their election accreditation and reviewed some of their pre-election procedures, reviewed the candidate filings, circulating petitions and filing deadline dates and times. So that was technically our first meeting, getting our township clerks prepared. And the only other thing that we really have, other than working diligently on elections, is the Aflac billing is still continuing on giving us issues, but we are working on that. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I guess we're on to communications and you can cruise them at your leisure. And we move on to committee reports. Terry.
Yes, attended the Department of Health meeting. They're moving forward with the project with the drug store. They did have a draft that I can give it to everybody, but I do have it with me. Corey has volunteered if anyone wants to take a cruise of the building, that he's making an appointment with him. He's glad to show you the building and show you what their plans are going to be. So it's going to be quite a project. And that's all
Great, how about you, Bill?
A couple things. The Parks and Recs are applying for, this is again, just to notify us that they're applying for a yearly grant. And I'm not gonna try to say what it is. It's MISORBA grant, and it's for their grooming and repair and so forth. But every year they apply for it, and as they get it, we'll process it through us. County. I gave everyone I think I gave everyone, there it is, a little bit of a picture booklet. It is from Sid Sidelock Group. Is actually an engineering firm, and it's an older newsletter that a lady apologized for not getting it out earlier, but it has on one of the pages the ACCOA map of what I believe it was in June that they were producing this, and it gives a little overlay on it. That was sort of not too bad. And also I didn't get it. That's what we better talk about.
I don't know, we got an email too. I did. I don't know if everybody else did.
Cedar Lake got we put in a Straight Line, is this called, the magazine?
Oh.
And about the
They got-
dam that they did and the improvements that the road commission and the organization put together. They had a nice little article, and the books were laying around here for a while. Thanks, Ron. Okay, and that, I was sat in on their meeting the other day for I was asked to sit from the road commission, and they have some ongoing issues with keeping the water level to maintain it. There's a court order that says you have to have it summertime at one level and wintertime at another, and there's are certain means that you can do, and you can be fined if you don't. And so forth. So they're working on that. They have a bunch of ideas. One consists of wells that Fairland can always improve on as far as explaining it, but there's one idea was to have something like 11 wells drilled and tanks, and then they have to have a well house and electricity to each one of those, and that would pump the lower water back into the lake as it lost it. But like I said, it's complicated.
Who's cost?
Yours,
Yeah,
the
taxpayer,
county,
the county,
the county board is responsible for the lake. So when you went into court, you took the responsibility on maintaining the lake.
right, it's a snake pit.
It's been raining like for 3 weeks straight. They don't got enough water down
So,
there?
but they are working, they got things, they have a couple alternatives, and there's talks of berms and property purchases and so forth for runoff. And it basically, that part of Cedar Lake is fed from runoff, basically. It doesn't have a stream, doesn't have a underflow system. And
That's interesting.
it's tricky.
Yeah.
They're working on it. That's all I got.
How about you, Carolyn?
Sunrise Center has been full for the month of March, which is a good thing. Their CARF review is scheduled for August, but hard to conclude that. CARF is a nationwide surveillance entity that surveys all entities that receive money from Medicare and Medicaid and from insurance companies. And numerous hoops they have to jump through in order to pass CARF. You can either get there are 3 options. You can get, well, not options, but 3 possibilities. You can get a 3-year, which is the max, the best you can do, or you can get a 1-year provisional, or you can fail. They got a 3-year last time, and we're certainly hoping for a 3-year again this time. 211 is going to be having, they've been informed they're going to have a state audit for 2019, 20, and 21 for compliance review in all financial areas. Cato DNR Fire has moved to 800 pagers. The Fire Association did a review of wildfire protocols, which was a good thing. June 22nd, there will be a functional exercise, which we have a similar a failure of the Mayo Dam, and that will be June 22nd in Hale, and we'll be getting notifications on that. I do have a question. Before it is not relevant to my reports, but I have a question. The communication was sent to the finance committee regarding the MIFSM invoice, and we have not had, part of our contract reflects that we will have a monthly report from them. I feel rather strongly that we need to pursue that prior to paying the bill. And I think a simple phone call will rectify that. But we really need to go back for a year. I would say back to April of 2021 with a monthly report indicating who they have received, what lines they have received. And disposition of those, whether it is still pending, the autopsy is pending, whether it's been completed, and so what date it was completed. There's information that would be most beneficial for the clerk's office to have. And what happens, apparently they're handling it, but we have families who call. And if you've lost someone, a loved one, and you get, in essence, a runaround, I think we have the obligation to minimize that to the best of our abilities. And by getting these reports and getting the names of the people that have been, an autopsy has been requested on, I think that it will save them some phone calls and will save them, in essence, of them. More importantly than that, this is part of the contract they signed and we signed, and they need to be responsible for that. In the contract, that they will provide monthly reports, and I think we need to. That's all.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. Okay, moving on to the last public comment section, 5 minutes per person. Anybody local? How about online?
Hey guys, we have a mobile pop-up pantry that's going to be at the senior center on 420, open to Oconee County residents. Anyone that is in need of food assistance, please get in contact with us. If you need immediate assistance, please get in contact us at 989-334-3466. That's 989-334-3466 for any immediate assistance. That's all I got.
Hey. Anyone else? Oh,
It's not a public comment, it's just kind of, I guess it is a comment. I'm requesting what type of training that will be available for our emergency contacts for this June 22nd training. I know in the past we've had training for the FEMA, through the FEMA program, to be able to access the website, and I believe it should be restarted. The trainings that we should be receiving to be qualified to participate in these events.
I don't have an answer.
I'm not asking for an answer, I'm just asking that
nope, well, we had to get that set up.
that happens. We look at the EOC list for Alcona County, we have individuals that are not trained or haven't gone through the training or have been lapsed on their training. And I'd just like to see that re-entered.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. That being said, make a motion to go to closed session. Recess first. All right, we'll have a recess and then go to closed session. Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
well, I guess I'll grab my cell phone. Do we know the number for that?
Sure we do.
Carolyn's concerned that, we don't have security here on the Zoom. Can you dial in?
Sure. What number?
989 724 9. I don't have any. Well, this is in the directory.
Yeah, but if we had the direct dial in, it'd be better.
Oh, 110, and then ask her to transfer you downstairs.
Okay.
410.
All right, thanks, Dan.
It might be 9475.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta
probably
hang
what
that
it
up.
is.
So the whole feed come back. Whatever is muted. Just
Oh, okay, good. Drive safe. Be careful of the snow.
You'll be here in time for
All right,
meeting.
she's got to call roll call.
Draggy,
Here.
Small.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Brumman.
Here,
I lost my agenda. Oh, there it is.
Who motioned and seconded that?
I think I
Bill
did
and
the
Terry.
motion.
Okay,
Terry.
thank
Any commissioner just, somebody's gotta make a motion to, allow personnel to proceed as discussed.
what do you want?
I'll make a motion to allow personnel to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Let's do roll call.
Brumman,
Yes.
Draggy,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Okay. Read something. Any additional comments from commissioners today?
Nope.
Nope.
Meeting adjourned until next April 20th.